Hi guys, for those of you familiar with our previous YouTube videos and our shop, we primarily specialize in Subarus, and we did a thing. We finally, after 8 years, bought a shop car. Unfortunately, it's a Ford. And it's not even a V8, it's turbo. So why did we pick a Ford? Specifically an EcoBoost Mustang. After years of working on drift cars and having fun, going drifting and going to drift events, the options in front of us, 350Z, 240SX, E46 or E36. We've worked on them all. Cost of entry was sometimes on par with an EcoBoost Mustang, most times less. Maintenance and reliability problems were something we really wanted to avoid. So going with a newer chassis, 2015, with 50,000 miles at $14,000 seems like a high cost of entry. When you consider a 350Z can be had for $6,000, a G35 can be had for less than that, an E46 can be had for even less than that, a 240SX is now the same price. All these cars are 20 years old, 200,000 miles, and most likely they are NA. So you're pretty much stuck with the power you're stuck with unless you put thousands of dollars into tuning and hop-up parts. So 350Z or G35, great chassis. Like I said, they're all 20 years old. The VQ35 is a great engine. As long as you don't push it too hard or too far, you can make good power NA, and generally they have enough to start. But you are stuck with what you're stuck with. With a 300 of the G35, you're getting somewhere around 300 of the crank. And it's a whole lot harder to pull more power out of an NA motor. And they all have close to 200,000 miles at this point. Then you got BMW E46, also a well-supported chassis. They make reasonable power, parts are plentiful and cheap, but they're old. They also have high mileage. Head gaskets are a known problem. Wiring is a known problem. Maintenance is a pain. So we somewhat disregarded the E46 for those reasons. 240SX, the availability of parts and the cost of entry became untenable. What was once $2,500 is now $6,500 for the exact same car that has 200,000 miles.
What did you say? Boy, you must be outside your mind.
Questionable maintenance, and who knows how many hands have been in the chassis, the wiring, and the engine throughout those 20 years. Most often you see the SR20 and the 240SX, you get a whopping 200 horsepower out of that, or you get the KA, you get a whopping 130 horsepower out of that. Both of them doable and great for beginners, but we want to spend our time driving and not our time working on it at the track. So tuning, major part of what we do around here. And the problem with these older vehicles is there's no way to get into the ECU, not easily anyways. Most often, if you want to keep your factory ECU, you have to send it out, someone else tunes it according to what you list as the parts, and then you just have to hope that your tune is good. And there's no way for you to get in and look at it most often. Or you can go the standalone route, spend thousands of dollars on a standalone ECU, spend thousands of dollars having it tuned. We saw the Mustang as a good option. You can hook up a Cobb access port, or you can have it tuned through HP tuners, through your OBD2 port. So with an EcoBoost, just plug in an access port, tune with HP tuners, no need for an aftermarket ECU. Newer ECUs, pretty much on par, if not better than standalones. So that saves you $500 to $2,000 right off the jump. So why not another Mustang, an older Mustang with a V8, SM95, New Edge? You get a 4.6 single cam most often. You get a whopping 225 horsepower at the crank, brand new. You got to work around this massive overhead cam V8 crammed in this engine bay. Your hands can't get to anything. And to make any more power, you have to spend thousands of dollars in reliable parts to actually get the power you're shooting for. By the time you get close to the EcoBoost power, you're pretty close to closing the gap on the cost of entry, surprisingly. And in the end, you still have to look at the thing every time you walk up to it. So moving on, why not the S197? Well, still have the same engine problems. Still got a 4.6, maybe you get a dual cam. You probably get a single cam. You're still making 250 at the crank, brand new. Still got the same engine bay problems. Still got the same handling characteristics and big heavy motor in the front. And the thing is still old. It's still based on 90s technology. God forbid you want to do any maintenance like a timing set on it. You still get a live axle, and sure, you make good power with the Coyote, but you still got to work on the thing. Now you have to deal with 4 cams, all kinds of timing chains, and it makes all of its power way up top. And the faster you spin a motor, the faster it dies. And the more cylinders you have, the more expensive it is to maintain. Granted, you can get a 197 with a Coyote for pretty close to the same amount of money as a low dollar EcoBoost, but your weight and your fun factor, we think, is still down at the bottom compared to a light 4-cylinder and independent rear suspension. So, S550, available in EcoBoost and a GT with a Coyote motor. Why not a Coyote motor for the S550? Well, double the cost, 30 grand on average for a Coyote S550. And I don't know about you, but $15,000, that's a lot of fuel, that's a lot of oil changes, that's a lot of tires to be spent having fun instead of just getting in and starting to drift. So why did we pick the 2.3? Oh, if it hasn't become obvious, we like turbos. We like the noises, we like the amount of power you can get out of a lighter engine. So with minimal dollars, 3-4 grand, you start to close the gap on the Mustang GT relatively quickly. And you still saved a bundle of money. You pretty quickly get close to S550 Coyote power. You've already eclipsed early V8 Mustang power. You've already eclipsed G35, 350Z, BMW, and 240. Like we said before, the cost to get to EcoBoost power in any of those chassis negates any money saved getting in the beginning. All right, so you heard me talk, ramble on about this and that. Let's go look at it. So it's a Mustang. Unfortunately, Japanese automakers have been sleeping on turbo cars for way too long, especially rear-wheel drive. Got your beautiful 17s. Got some real carbon fiber side louvers. Your wonderful Duraflex rear louver. Pre-salvage title, already been wrecked, so we don't have to worry about hurting it too bad. Nothing fancy. This cloth interior. Got the beautiful red LEDs. Gotta love the Ford honks for no reason. Let's take a look under the hood. There she is in all her glory. Only 4 cylinders of fury. We did get pretty lucky. We got an intake, intercooler, some charge piping, and all the problems that come with somebody adding aftermarket parts for us. But we're gonna see what she does.